Hey, what's going on? Well, in this particular video, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we do as far as planning out a wedding reception, what our role is as DJs. Now, what our role isn't is just to go there, set up, play music for a few hours and leave, okay? Now, if that's what you're thinking it's all about, then no, you don't need to become a wedding DJ, okay? Our job is to plan out a memorable reception for the bride and groom. As far as the entertainment portion of the evening goes, that's our job. We meet with the bride and groom and we talk about the flow of the events, how they want to do things, and we give them suggestions, and we're the ones that actually do the planning of the entertainment portion of the evening. Now I'm going to show you how I normally plan a wedding reception. This is probably about what 99% of the weddings that I do, the order that they follow. Now you may do things a little bit differently where you're at, and of course that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying my way is right and your way is wrong or vice versa, but this is how I do it, and this is how it has worked out for me, and it's really worked out well, and every bride that I've ever done a wedding reception for has always been happy with this format. Now we changed it up a little bit, but I'll show you, just give you an idea on how I normally do things. Okay, now what you're looking at is you're looking at the order of events page from my wedding packet that I send out to brides and grooms all the time. And I'm just going to go over this with you, okay? And you're going to notice how things really flow from one event to another, okay? And like I said, you may do things differently where you're at, and of course that's fine. There is no right or wrong way, but this is just what has worked for me, okay? And I'm going to explain it to you just like I would explain to a bride. Okay, first of all, we start out with the pre-reception visiting time. That's while the bride and groom and the wedding party are getting their pictures made. You know, a lot of people call that the cocktail hour. I just call it the pre-reception visiting time. It's the same thing, okay? Then what we'll do is we'll go from there into the introduction of the wedding party. When the wedding party arrives, I'll make sure that they're all lined up according to the planner and all that good stuff, okay? And immediately after the introduction of the wedding party, we will do what we call the cocktail hour or the receiving line. Now let me explain that to you, okay? First of all, a receiving line, we really don't do that too much anymore. I list it here as an option, but a lot of folks really don't do that at a reception, but I still have it there. But basically what that is you would have the bride and groom stand in the middle of the dance floor, and everybody would form a long line to come up and shake their hand. Now, a lot of times that's done at the church, but I still leave it there. I've never had a bride actually want to do that, but it's there as an option. Now, the cocktail hour, at least what I call a cocktail hour, does not last a full hour. What that means is that right after we do the introduction of the wedding party, we can go into what we call a cocktail hour, but usually it lasts maybe 10 minutes, and usually that's a good cue for the banquet staff to go ahead and have the food ready if they need to. Okay, it's just a time for the bride and groom to, you know, mingle around a little bit and socialize with their guests. That's what we call that. It doesn't go a full hour, but that's just what I call it. Okay. Then from there we'll go on and do the blessing. If they have somebody that they want to say the blessing, we would do that. Then it's dinner. Okay, and if it's a buffet, I usually ask the bride and groom to go first, followed by their parents and then the wedding party. Alright, from there, we do the toast when it looks like most people are finished eating. Now, a lot of times, I've had brides that have asked to do the toast before dinner. We could do that, but I just prefer, you know, I tell them to, you know, it'd be best to do it after dinner because everybody's already got their drinks. That just makes sense. But we can do it before dinner. That doesn't really matter, you know, if they want to do it that way. But that's just how I got it set up here. From there, we would go right on into the cake cutting, and the reason for that is because you know, you want to get the cake cutting done as close to after dinner as you can, so you can serve the cake as part of the dessert. Okay. From there, we would go on into the bouquet throw, then do the removal of the garter and the garter toss. All right. And then of course, in between the garter toss there, if they wanted to do the placing of the garter on the leg, we could do that. Now, if there are kids involved, we usually don't do that. Okay, but that's for another video. From there, we move on into the spotlight dances. Now, for me personally, I recommend doing the father-bride dance first, the mother-groom dance, and then any other spotlight dances they have. Let's say the bride has a stepfather, or maybe, you know, she's got a favorite uncle she wants to share a dance with. Well, she can do that at that time, okay? And then we'll move into the bride and groom's first dance. Let me adjust the camera there. You know, we go right on into the bride and groom's first dance. And what I normally do with the bride and groom's first dance is I'll wait till the song has like a minute to a minute and a half to go. Then I invite the wedding party out to join the bride and groom. And what that does is that really creates a nice build-up. Okay, and then from there we go right on into open dancing. You see how everything just kind of leads up to the open dancing. Then we got the bride and groom's final dance. That's usually done about 5 minutes before the contracted end time, and I usually have the bride and groom stand in the middle of the dance floor and then have everybody form a circle around them. You know, that's a good nice send-off, and then we have the conclusion of the reception. Now, I want to show you something here, okay? You know, I know a lot of areas that sometimes, you know, when you do like the the introduction of the wedding party, let me zoom back here. You know, the introduction of the wedding party, sometimes they may want to go ahead and do their dances right after the introduction of the wedding party, and that's fine. You know, I mean, like I said, there is no right or wrong way to do it, but what I like to do is I like to make sure that once we get focused on the dance floor, we stay focused on the dance floor. Most brides really like this format because you see how it just kind of flows naturally, and it makes everything so much easier. When you do it this way. Now I tell the brides we can arrange these things any way that they want to, but the one thing that we don't want to do is once we get down here to the open dancing, you don't want to stop the music at all. Okay, when we get down here, you know, you don't want to stop the music. We can arrange this other stuff any way we want to, but when you get down here, don't stop the music. That's just the number one rule, and most DJs will tell you that it will kill the reception. Now let's talk a little bit about time schedules. Okay, I never set up a time schedule when it comes to a wedding reception except for a start time and an end time. And let me explain to you why. Think about this, okay? Think about the last time you were watching a TV show or a movie and you had somewhere you had to be. What were you doing? You were probably looking at your watch, you know, thinking you got to move on to, you know, to wherever you got to go. Well, when you set up a time schedule, you're really not going to be able to enjoy yourself. And that goes true with a wedding reception. Now I'm going to show you another planner that a girl gave me one time. Now I'm going to explain a little bit about where this planner came from. A couple years ago, I had done a wedding here in Pensacola, and I had a girl come up to me right after the wedding, and she said, you know what, I am so happy that you did this wedding right. You know, this is my sister's wedding. You did a great job. I loved how everything just flowed. And she said, I got married about a year ago, and my wedding was ruined. And I said, well, what happened? And she said that the person she'd let plan out the ceremony, she let plan out the entertainment portion of the evening as well. And apparently this person wasn't an entertainment planner. I mean, they didn't really know a whole lot. I don't know if they were even a wedding planner. But I'm going to show you the planner because she was talking about how they set up time schedules. She said she could not enjoy her reception at all, and she said it just felt rushed, it felt stressful. So I'm going to show you that planner right now, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, now you're going to wonder, how could anybody have possibly had fun? Now, she sent me a copy of this. This is actually her wedding planner, although I have changed the names on that from what their names were to George and Caprice. But now, for example, look at this, okay? Starting out at 5:30, you got the reception beginning, the vegetable tray and cash bar waiting for guests as they arrive. Well, that's pretty normal. 6 o'clock, Caprice and George join the reception. Okay, 6:05, introduction to the wedding party. 6:10, the first dance. 6:15, father-bride dance. Mother-groom dance at 6:20. You see how everything's just set up there like that? I mean, how could you really have had fun at an event like that? And I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to show you something else too. Now look at this. Here's dinner starting at 6:25. Then at 7:20, you got more pictures with Caprice and George as the guests are eating. Okay, then 7:30, here's open dancing. Okay, 8:30, stop the music, do the bouquet and garter toss. Okay, then 8:45, more open dancing. 9 o'clock, the toast and the cake cutting at 9 o'clock at night. Okay, then 9:10, more open dancing. Then 9:45, the money dance. 10 o'clock, the last dance. And 10:10, guests line up for the farewell for the couple. You see what I'm saying? You can't really have a productive wedding reception like that. But see how, you know, she's got the open dancing here, then stop the music, then, you know, more open dancing here, then stopping the music, do the toast and the cake cutting. You see how all out of order that is. And that particular bride told me to give a copy of this to all of my clients and show them why you don't want to do this. And I looked at that and I said, you know what, if I'd have been your DJ, I would have highly discouraged anything like this because, you know, it would just feel so rushed. I mean, you'd be looking at your watch every few minutes saying, okay, well, you know, we're coming up on 7:20 right now. We got to hurry these people up. You know, we're going to run behind schedule. That's why I never set up a time schedule. You know, because the whole idea for the bride and groom is to have fun, and have a good time, and have a relaxing atmosphere. And, you know, setting it up like this, you really couldn't have a relaxing atmosphere. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. Yeah, now I've carried that planner around for about 3 years now, ever since that bride gave that to me. And I show it to all the brides, and whenever they look at that, they say, how in the world could anybody have had fun at something like that? Of course, I say the same thing. So anyway, that's just a little tip there on time schedules. But remember, the number one rule is, when you get to that open dancing, you don't stop the music. Okay, so anyway, that's where we're going to leave this. If you got any comments or questions or anything like that, just feel free to drop them right down here, and we'll talk about it. Maybe share some of your experiences and what you do and how you normally plan out a wedding reception. So until next time, practice and enjoy.